Hi everyone, and welcome to this latest edition of the Big Red Doors video productions. As you can see, I'm standing just inside our Big Red Doors to bring you information about this Sunday, June 11th. We are celebrating Practice the Tithe Sunday this Sunday. And you might have a few questions about what that is, and I'm here to tell you. What is practicing the tithe? Essentially, the tithe is the biblical model that we hear about a lot in the Hebrew scriptures of bringing your first fruits of your harvest or of your income to God and for the benefit of the work of God. So in the Hebrew scriptures, this was often the harvest, the grain, the seed. You would bring 10% of that as your first fruits offering back to God in thanksgiving for the provision that God has given you. In the New Testament, we hear a lot about people giving gifts, especially in the ministry of Paul, as he is starting the early churches, for the generosity of those people who gave enabled the work of the church to continue. So for us, as we think about practicing the tithe, we know that in this day and age, especially in Southern California, giving 10% of your income is often very challenging and not possible. But we wanted to put this 1 week on your radar where you are invited to consider what 10% of your income is just for the week and offer that as a first fruits offering back to God, as a way of this spiritual act of giving back, of recognizing and being grateful for the things that God has given you, and as a very practical way of supporting God's work in the world through the ministries of this church. So that's what practicing the tithe is. That's how we are inviting you to participate in that this week, just by taking 10% of your weekly income and giving that above and beyond your regular tithe or pledge. And if 10% isn't doable for you for the week, whatever percentage is, we invite you to offer that as a way of participating in this Sunday. You might be wondering why we celebrate Practice the Tithe, or how we're celebrating Practice the Tithe. The reason we celebrate it is because it is a way for us to celebrate not only what God has given us, but it's a way to celebrate the ministries here at St. John's that are near and dear to our hearts, and a way for us to really come together as a community of faith and practice this spiritual practice together in community. As we do so, we're also going to celebrate with an ice cream social after church. There are many, many toppings I hear that are in the works for the ice cream sundaes that will await you after church. So please come ready and with anticipation to celebrate it. You might also wonder why it's a practice. Notice it's Practice the Tithe Sunday. And the reason for that is simply that just like any other spiritual practice, tithing is something that requires, well, practice, like a muscle that you exercise. Being mindful and conscious of the way that we steward our financial resources to make sure there's some room in there to give back to God and give back towards the needs of others. Isn't something that we all do naturally. It's something that we have to really think about and be aware of and practice. And so that's why we are practicing the tithe, all of these reasons. And this is also why it's a celebration. And so we hope you will join us this Sunday for our celebration of Practice the Tithe Sunday.